go. Look who just walked into the studio. One of a rising star in the Texas country music scene, Red Dirt country music artist. You have been on charts. You have traveled around the country. You have performed you are Jeff Canada. You are a fantastic talent and something of a little bit of angst, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of hang on, your mic's not on. There we go.
Yeah, it's working now.
You are angsty for a country music singer.
Angsty?
You have the angst of a grunge singer.
Oh.
But you're a country music guy.
Interesting. Yeah, it's I'm just me.
As a country music guy, have you ever watched Tales from the Tour Bus with Mike Judge? Have you seen this?
I have not.
It's brilliant. You know Mike Judge.
Yeah.
Office Space, Beavis and Butthead, Idiocracy. Yeah. He did this documentary. It's a docuseries about country music singers.
Oh, really?
And it's really funny. It's animated. It's like watching, because he talks like Hank Hill. He talks like this, like King. And he's the narrator, and he's interviewing country music singers and ZZ Top and stuff. And he said the whole point of doing this documentary was that in the 90s, he was listening to country music and gangster rap. And there'd be these headlines about how Snoop Dogg got arrested at a nightclub with a gun. And he thought, well, that's nothing. George Jones shot a guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, all my favorite country singers who have these squeaky clean images are actually bigger outlaws than the so-called gangster rap artists that I'm interested in.
Yeah, that's a funny thing about the outlaw. We were having that discussion yesterday, the whole outlaw country thing, and I don't like all of my heroes did it their own way.
Right.
All of them. Like I don't have a single person that I look up to that played it safe. Like everybody, all of my heroes were, just did it their own way and didn't depend on the man or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
So your biggest heroes would be what? The outlaw country guys, or is that kind of underscores it?
Yeah, not just that, but I mean, even guys like Eddie Vedder and Dave Grohl, and they've done it their own way. But definitely Waylon and Willie and Merle and all those dudes. It just, we're supposed to be different. We're supposed to be artists. We're supposed to stand out amongst the crowd. We're not supposed to play it safe.
Right.
That's the way I see it.
There's this video, I don't know where you could find it. It's Dave Grohl, and he's in a studio with a bunch of musicians you'd never heard of before. He's one of my heroes, too. And he's telling them how to overdub their drums or do gated, some technical production thing that they're doing. It wouldn't even be worth explaining right now. And one of the kids in the room looks at me and goes, how do you know? And he says, well, I was the drummer in Nirvana. And then everybody starts laughing. It's like, yeah, I mean, he's Dave frickin' Grohl, guys. You're not going to tell him what to do. But so obviously rock music's a big part of what you do, even though you're a country singer, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rock is definitely a huge influence for me. I grew up as a 90s kid, 80s, I guess. I was born in 79, so.
Okay.
But 90s was the drug years.
Sure, yeah. and you don't use drugs anymore.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. We're all safe and sober and clean here. Jeff, you are an amazing musician, though. You're respected by some of the greatest people in the industry. And I follow you on social media. And for those that don't know who Jeff Canada is, you do not have a filter between your mouth and your brain.
No.
You just say what you think. And sometimes you say things that really piss people off.
Well, I'd say things that shouldn't piss people off, but they do because people are sensitive.
You talk a lot about the problems in the industry.
Yeah.
One of the obvious problems in the industry right now, I got to assume, is, and this is just as true for Texas country music as it is for anything else, it's inflation. You guys have to deal with the fact that you're touring, you were making a living at this, you've been doing it for years, and all of a sudden everything costs more. Tour bus, fuel, everything. Getting across the country, hotel rooms, all of it, but venues aren't necessarily paying you guys more.
No. Matter of fact, the venues are trying to get to, pay us less. And that's okay. I mean, they have to make their bottom line too. They're dealing with the same inflation we're dealing with. But yeah, it's a big problem. I mean, just to eat, we used to be able to go to Taco Bell or whatever and spend $5 and eat. And now you can't even do that.
Have you ever seen the Willie Nelson or the Johnny Cash Taco Bell commercials from the 90s?
I have not.
I will play them for you in the next segment. They will blow. A funny thing about that, they were having a hard time making money back in the 90s. But I think Johnny Cash, obviously, it was before his big comeback when he worked with Rick Rubin, obviously. And then Willie Nelson had his tax thing. So those guys were buddies. They were both members of the Highwaymen, right? And right around the same time, their talent manager, whoever it was like, you know what you guys should do? Taco Bell commercial. And Bill Hicks, who was still alive at the time, did a whole bit about how it was the lowest point of Willie Nelson's career, but he forgave him for it. Would you do a Taco Bell commercial?
Yeah, I'll do anything.
Yeah, the money's green, right?
Yeah, if it pays a decent amount of money, I'll do or say anything.
I mean, I eat Taco Bell, so I don't have a problem with Taco Bell. Somebody yesterday on social media posted a photo of a map of Dallas and how many Taco Bells there were. He was like, isn't this kind of embarrassing? You're Texas. Why you guys got so many flipping Taco Bells around?
Because it's cheap.
I mean, it is good.
Yeah, I don't know about good, but it's cheap.
The best Tex-Mex you're going to get in upstate Wisconsin is Taco Bell, but it's not the best Tex-Mex you're going to get in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
So why do we go there?
I don't know. Because it's cheap and it's easy and it's always there and it's consistent.
Yeah, the price is right. Absolutely. Jeff, you were a Boy Scout when you were a kid, if I'm not mistaken, right? Briefly, you were were you a Weeblo?
Yeah, I was a Boy Scout for about a year, I guess. Yeah, about a year I was a Boy Scout.
When I heard the Boy Scouts were changing their name, the first thing I thought was, oh, they're finally going to stop calling the 10-year-olds Weeblos.
Yeah, is there anything we're going to get to keep?
No.
Like, is there anything
No.
Is there anything that boys, men are going to get to keep, like, for real?
No, absolutely not. No, now Girl Scouts will remain the same. Lesbians with little girls selling cookies, that will remain. But apparently, I don't know if they're all lesbians, but some of them certainly are. And the Girl Scouts isn't going anywhere. Boy Scouts is now called Scouting America. And they say that part of it is that they want more girls involved in scouting, but isn't it really about, I got to assume this is about the LGBTQ thing, right?
It's all virtue signaling. It's all virtue signaling. And if these companies would step back and realize that that the majority of American people do not support this bullcrap, they would be much better off.
Well, that's what's so weird about it. Like, what was wrong with Boy Scouts? What was the problem?
Boys.
Just boys?
Toxic masculinity.
The development of testosterone.
Teaching them how to tie knots, and that might teach them how to do something bad when they're older. I don't know. It's crazy. You just told me about that. I don't even know because I don't tune into the news at all. And you just told me about that, and it just blew my mind. I cannot believe that an establishment like that has changed their...
Oh, yeah, they've had to totally rebrand. In fact, this is the reason I had you put those headphones on so you could listen to this. Hang on.
A new brand in scouting.
The Boy Scouts have a new brand.
Not just for boys anymore.
Scouting America. Hey! Boys and girls across the land. Hey! Commitment to inclusion. We welcome everyone. Scouting America. Yeah! Campaign's got more fun.
Are you a parent of a scout itching to camp in tents? Hold your marshmallow. With crazy hormones and raging testosterone, it may not be the best idea because the great outdoors could be a hotbed for other kinds of wildlife.
Ooh la la.
Maybe it's time to go back to the good old days of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, where tents were made for camping.
Oh dear, I think we all know what that means.
Scouting America.
Yeehaw!
Making camping safe for everyone.
No way.
Yes, way!
You know what my problem is with inclusiveness? And you, of all people, could probably relate with this. I was a weird kid. That probably doesn't surprise you at all.
Same.
And bullying was a thing when I was growing up. And if it wasn't for the fact that I was a weird kid and bullying existed, you would not see the quick-witted man you see sitting before you today, who's very good. I'm very good at talking my way out of a fight. I had to be. With this mouth, you're going to get punched in the face. But now that they've gotten rid of all that with inclusiveness, keep Austin weird, they say, right? But if the whole country has become quote unquote weird, what is so creative? What's so clever about Austin or the so-called queer kids?
Yeah, it's not weird anymore. It's just dumb.
Right.
Like, it's just stupid. What y'all are doing is not working. And if you can't see that just by going to your cities, then that's a you thing, not a me thing.
I understand you have a song about transgender scouts you want to play for us.
I do not have that, but I might write that.
All right, what about a different song? Could you play a different song for us?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We're live streaming on social media for those of you watching us right now. Don't go anywhere. If you're listening to us on the radio, hang around. Some of these fantastic sponsors are keeping us on the air. So,
if I were you, I'd stay put. Kenny will be right back with more of what you came for. Fart jokes.
all right, if you guys are watching us on social media, which of course you are, because we're recording segments that are going to air later this afternoon on KPRC. For those of you that follow me on social media, you know this has kind of become a tradition. Guests are always available at lunchtime, so I record a lot of segments on what is obviously the greatest talk radio station in Houston, Texas, the Walton and Johnson Show. We've got Jesse Kelly, we have Glenn Beck, and of course this show, Pursuit of Happiness. My buddy Jeff Canada is getting set up right now with his guitar. If you don't follow Jeff Canada on social media, you have made a humongous mistake. Jeff Canada's social media accounts are fantastic. I don't even know a lot about Texas country, and I enjoy his posts. Where do people find you?
JeffCanadaSucks.com.
JeffCanadaSucks.com is so easy. But you don't suck.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
That's the joke. All right, hang on, everybody. We're coming back right now. Hold on. Hold that thought. Do you want to play us back from break? Is that?
Yeah, do you have a mic or something, or are we just...
Yeah, hold on. I could do that. Yeah, I could accommodate. Hang on a second. For your guitar.
Cool.
Kind of one of these.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
How's the guitar? Loud enough?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, why don't you play us back from break? Ready?
Yep.
Go ahead. We're ready for you.
I know you've been hurt. I can see it in your eyes, treated like dirt. You put up with the lies, you've been led astray. You've been cast aside, I want to show you that you don't have to cry. Yeah. You don't think you're worth it. Well, that's just crazy to me, you don't deserve it. Well, that's not what I see, I think you're perfect. You fit me perfectly, I want to show you who you are through my eyes. So stop waiting on the rain. Enjoy the sunshine on your face. I can be your anchor, I can be your calm. I can be the shelter, the place you call home. I know that you have your fears. Baby, just know I'm here. I've opened up my closet. I showed you the bones inside. I've been honest. I got nothing left to hide. Let me love you. Let me make you smile. I want to show you the best time of your life. So stop waiting on the rain. Enjoy the sunshine on your face. I can be your anchor, I can be your calm. I can be the shelter, the place you call home. I know that you have your fear. Let me make this clear. It gets away all those tears. Baby, just know I'm here.
My brother, Jeff Canada, live on KPRC 950. My man.
Thanks, brother.
That was outstanding. That is a song about Brittany Griner escaping from a Russian prison, I'm told.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what that's. You know, Jeff, since you're here, and you are a guy with a lot of opinions about the news and that sort of thing, you watched the Tom Brady roast, did you not?
I did, and it was so refreshing. This is what I was going to bring up when we were talking about the Boy Scouts and these companies that are making these dumb decisions. If you'll actually watch what's going on, you're seeing a big resurgence in comedy that pushes the limits. And that's because people are thirsty for that. They're tired of the offendedness.
Right.
And what was really cool about last night's roast, or whenever it was, but I watched last
last
night.
weekend or whatever.
What was really cool about that is it was just all gloves off. You know, they weren't afraid to make 9/11 jokes. They weren't afraid to make Aaron Hernandez jokes. They weren't afraid to make transgender jokes. Even Dana White stood up and made one. I mean, it was just... You know, we got to get back to the point where we laugh about this stuff.
Have you noticed the only thing people are paying attention to right now? There's no sitcoms coming out in the fall. Did you see it? Jerry Seinfeld was just talking about this. New movies, Netflix will dump $50 million into a movie. It'll get buried on streaming services. Nobody watches it. There's nobody going to the movie theaters right now. Two things that seem to be working at the moment: stand-up comedy and live music. Live music's obviously a big music festival season just started. Lollapalooza, Coachella, Bonnaroo, and then stand-up comedy Here in Houston, Texas, we suddenly have like 4 or 5 stand-up comedy clubs. That wasn't true 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I got to think you're onto something there. There's a reason stand-up comedy is suddenly so popular, and it's because everything else is so fake.
Well, it's because people like Joe Rogan said, that's it. We're done. We're done playing y'all's game. We're not playing this game anymore. We're going to say what we want to say, and if you're offended by that, that is a you thing. And that's what you got to laugh at. You got to laugh at this stuff. The quickest way to heal is to laugh. And so as soon as, something bad happens and somebody makes a joke about it, it's not that it's a, if a celebrity dies and somebody goes and makes a joke on social media or whatever, it's not a slap about the celebrity. It's how we deal with tragedy is we make jokes about it.
Well, tell that to Will Smith. I mean, how crazy was that? Dude, and then in the aftermath of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock for making an alopecia joke about G.I. Jane, the whole world learns moments later, Will Smith's wife is like sleeping around with dudes in their 20s. Why would you get so upset about that? This is your opportunity to leave her.
Yeah, it's miserable people that hate their life. And so they want to make everyone else around them miserable too. It's an age-old human thing.
Tom Brady, apparently this was the only joke he had an issue with at the roast of Tom Brady. There were a lot of old jokes told at the expense of Tom Brady, his wife, his teammates. But there was only one where Tom got out of his chair and approached the comedian to tell him to knock it off. Here's Jeff Ross when he began talking about the Patriots owner, Robert Kraft.
So Tom became a Patriot, moved up to New England, and on the first day of training camp, that scrawny rookie famously walked into the owner, Robert Kraft's office and said, "I'm the best decision your organization has ever made." Would you like a massage? I love Robert Kraft. I love that again. Okay. He's having fun. Look at him.
Okay, for the record, Robert Kraft did get, and apparently at the time, do you remember this controversy? The Patriots owner was accused of getting an HJ from women that had been trafficked. So Reason.com, the libertarian news website, goes out and does an investigation, and they had determined that none of these women were trafficked. They were all in the country of their own, like whether they were here illegally or not. They weren't trafficking victims. It was a consensual relationship between an elderly man and a middle-aged Asian woman. And I got to tell you, at the expense of upsetting some of our more conservative listeners, I don't have enough Fs to care about that. Let Robert Kraft pay an elderly Asian woman to do that. I don't care.
I don't either. But I also saw Jeff Ross's post-show remarks, and he said that Tom was just playing, like just getting up and playing around. He didn't actually care about the joke. It was just a joke. Like he was kind of messing with him too. So who knows really what goes on.
One of the other people that's always involved in these roasts is Nikki Glaser, and she had revealed what comedians could and could not say during the Netflix roast. She was doing an interview the other day, and she said they could not make any cracks about Tom Brady's kids. And I guess I get that one. Kids should probably be off limits, right?
Yeah, as long as I think there was a couple of jokes about him losing his kids, but there wasn't anything directly about his kids, and that's probably pretty safe to stay away from, I think. Didn't
his wife leave him? Well, I mean, they got divorced, and now she's with a kickboxer or something like that.
A judo, some jiu-jitsu coach or something. I don't know. I don't care enough to pay attention to that stuff.
To people that listen to our morning show, they've heard me talk about this before, but Tom Brady and his wife Gisele Bündchen don't realize it, but they are living proof that the gender wage gap isn't real. Here you got a guy. He's the greatest, considered to be the greatest NFL quarterback of all time. How good? The greatest, the GOAT. Multiple NFL Super Bowl championships, more than one team, went multiple times, spanning over decades, and he doesn't have as much money as his wife, who stands in front of a camera and takes photos for a living.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it, right? That's it. That's the argument there. It's like, it's not fair. Life's not fair for women. It's like, well, wait a second here. Tom Brady doesn't have as much money as Gisele Bündchen.
Yeah. I mean, I would love my old lady to make way more money than me.
Dude.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and you're with a woman who is also a country singer.
Well, she's working on it, but she has a real job and or day job, real job, whatever. But she definitely makes more money than I do.
Why do musicians do that to themselves? You just did that. You just insulted yourself.
I did, and I hate that normally, and I can't believe I did that.
You said she has a real job.
Yeah, she has a day job.
what you do, what I do, I talk on the radio for
Right.
a living. You perform at country music venues. These are jobs.
Yeah, it's a
right?
real job. I pay real bills with my real money I make from my real job.
But-
yeah, 100%.
What is it that made you do this? Something in society made you say that.
Yeah, I think it's just because we hear it all the time. Like I hear it literally 3 times a week. What do you do? What's your real job? What do you do? What do you really do for a living?
You do this.
Yeah, this is what I do.
People that live outside of Texas don't understand. We have our own country music industry.
Yep.
Red dirt country, right? That's what it's called. And you guys travel around the country, but it's really big in Texas,
Yep.
where there's even a network of radio stations playing hit songs. You've charted before. You wrote songs about Texas that charted outside of Texas,
Yeah, I got a #1 in Australia with a song called "Back to Texas." Yeah,
but it didn't chart in Texas.
no,
What's
it might have hit the charts, but it would vary just barely.
All right, what are you promoting right now? We got a lot of people listening in Houston. We got people listening all over the state on social media.
Last month I released a single. It's a cover of a 7 Mary 3 song called "Lucky," and so I'm trying to get that as many plays as I can. "I'm Here" is my last full studio single. I released that I think at the end of last year. I'm currently writing my next album right now, and so yeah, I'm just in the studio hustling and writing songs.
Wait, you do a cover of a 7 Mary 3 song? You mean the guys who sing Cumbersome?
Mhm.
Isn't that fascinating how 90s alternative rock is what modern day country music sounds like?
Yeah, for some of it, it definitely does.
For some of it.
Yeah, for
right.
like Co Wetzel and those guys, Giovanni the Hired Guns, they're definitely playing more like alternative stuff.
I mean, I guess it's obvious with Darius Rucker or something like that, but I mean, it's bigger than that. You frowned
Yeah,
at
not
that.
even the same.
You did
it's
not
not
like-
even the same thing.
Yeah, but his music didn't change, did it?
Right. Well, it did. It's more country. It has fiddle now and pedal steel and that sort of stuff. But they were, they weren't a rock band. Hootie and the Blowfish wasn't a rock band. They were a folk band. They were a
Pop music.
pop. I don't even know if it was pop. It was just
What was
good
it?
songs. Country. I mean,
You-
it was just.
You
good.
like Tootie?
I did. Yeah.
I always thought it was funny that he had a lyric about crying over the Miami Dolphins. And as a kid, I thought he meant literally crying over dolphins, like he was an environmentalist or something.
Yeah.
But not the case. Anyway, I want people to go to jeffcanadasucks.com. You got shows coming up you want people to see this weekend. Where can they go?
Next weekend, I'll be opening up for Jarrett Ray Reddick. He's the singer for Bowling for Soup at Sawyer Park Ice House on Friday. Next Friday.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bowling for Soup. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't that kind of prove my point?
Yeah.
He was a 90s alternative rock artist, and now what does he do?
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. It definitely crosses over for sure.
Okay, what about Sublime?
What about them?
Well, Sublime is a band from the 90s
Mhm.
that obviously nobody would mistake that for anything but alternative rock. But don't those songs kind of sound like what country music sounds like now?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Not. I think that's a bad comparison.
Okay, all right. Well, my buddy,
The other one was a good one.
my buddy Josh Fuller.
Mhm.
He works at a country music station up in Conroe up there. He does a cover of What I Got.
Mhm.
And to me, that's like the greatest country song of all time, and it's not a country song.
Yeah, I do it all the time too.
Am I crazy for thinking that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm crazy for other reasons too.
Yeah.
JeffCanadaSucks.com. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening, for watching us. Get caught up with my buddy Jeff Canada on social media. Don't forget, we have a free event coming up June 6th. We're going to invite everybody to come eat lunch with us. From 11 p.m. to 2 p.m., we are going to be at the Giant Texas Distillers with my boy Daniel Turner from Power of the Future. If you work in oil and gas or you know anybody that does, you're going to want to attend this event. Free fajitas. Why not? To the rest of you, I love you all. Have a great afternoon. Be safe out there.
You are listening to the Pursuit of Happiness Radio. Tell the government to kiss your ass when you listen to the show.
Kenny,
Daniel, what's up, my man?
All right, great to be on with you.
Just an FYI, there is a second voice here. Jeff Canada, a Texas country music singer, is in studio as well.